Hey everybody, welcome back again. So we're taking a look here at some new acquisitions that I picked up over the weekend from a familiar company, but you may not be aware of some of the things that they're now doing in HO. So this is Lionel HO scale. They've had several forays into HO scale over the years, actually over the decades. And where a lot of this recent product is coming from is Lionel actually has the old model power tooling, so they're doing a lot of cars with new paint schemes kind of based on the old model power schemes. Um, and from the looks of it here, it has couplers in there that are already knuckles. I don't know if they're metal or not. Metal wheels, metal couplers. So what's most interesting about these is they're pretty inexpensive. The local hobby shop had these marked at $19.99, and they were running a little bit of a sale over the weekend. So I think I got these for like 17, 18 bucks a piece, which is pretty remarkable for any piece of rolling stock, even an N scale, to get it at that price. So, typically the best buy around for rolling stock or cheap, inexpensive things to build up your fleet has always been Walther's Mainline, which I am a super huge fan of. And these seem to be coming in even less expensive than that. So let's take a look at one of these and see if they're any good. And looks like they do have a plastic seal on either end here. So we'll go ahead and break that open. Well, more tape. So let's see what we got here. So it does indeed have those metal wheels. And you can see a little bit of the brass spring in there. These look to be legit KDs on here. So taking a look here. It's not separately applied detail, but you can't really expect that at this price, but it looks good. The lettering is nice and crisp and clear. It's a good looking car. Weight wise, for as small as it is, it doesn't seem too bad. I would prefer it maybe be a little bit heavier. I suppose that you could take it apart here and maybe add a little more weight into it. Let's see how it rolls. Where is my... here it is. And if you don't already have one of these, you should get one. Kato makes these, and it's just something that you just put on your track, and it instantly will pretty much rail anything. Super nice. Oop. Might be noticing a little bit of a problem here. So this truck here appears to be super rigid. Actually, both of them are very hard to rotate. So I think if we pull it down and out just a tad, that was a problem that the old model powers used to have. So I'm going to work on that, just kind of pulling these trucks out a little bit, and we'll see if we can get that any better. All right, so I seem to have found what you need to do here to get these to run right. So kind of looking at things before here, this is super stiff in here, not rotating very well at all, can easily derail in a corner, as well as the wheels don't particularly spin very well. So what you have to do here is this whole thing kind of lifts out, and the center pin is mounted in there. You can just use a screwdriver here to kind of pry it out of there. Once this is off, you will want to watch because this thing tends to go flying out. But I just added a little bit of 108 oil here and added it in two places. I added it around this little pin here so it pivots freer. It's still a bit tight, but that's about as good as it's going to get. The other thing is the wheels, added just a little bit here along the outside of each one of these. And you'll see, yeah. Well, it is a little bit better. So probably will take a little bit of running to actually break these in. Once these do go around the track quite a bit more to actually kind of wear into the plastic here. So I think these will need a considerable amount of track time before they really start to work a little bit better. So I'm going to go ahead and work on the other side here, and then we'll get it back on the track and see how it is. Alright, so I messed around with it a little bit more, and I got it just a wee bit better. But one of the other things I noticed is when I put it on the track, it actually popped out the axle here, because these have a lot of play. More than they probably should. So really, I think the best thing that you could probably do would be to replace the trucks, and I don't know if you could retain the pin mechanism in there or maybe just glue something else in there, but I think a new set of trucks would make this car a lot better. So we'll see how it feels here. And you'll notice that's coming down off an incline here, and it stops almost immediately. These do not free roll very good. And normally that should be able to roll back down here, and it just, there's a lot more tension here than probably what there should be. So that could be something where to break in a little bit more, but you may have to do your own long-term tests on that. But just be aware of that out of the box that these need a little bit of oil to kind of get them working, and it's probably not something that you want to just give it like a 6 or 7 year old right out of the box, because they're going to get frustrated because it doesn't work right and instantly. So something you do want to take a look over, or maybe even have your local hobby shop put it on the tracks and see how it runs for yourself. And they might be able to give a little bit of work to it to make it work too, or at least tell you the right parts to upgrade it. So that's about it for this one. We will take a brief look at the Pennsylvania here. I also have. And these are pretty much the exact same car, just a different paint scheme. We'll see if this one has the same running characteristics. I suspect that it will. Yeah, look at that. Right out of the box, it's not connected. No, this is a disaster here. Got one side in and it went out in the other. Does appear to pivot better on this one, much better actually. See how it looks on the track. So this one seems to run right better, but I would be concerned about these axles coming out here on the trucks. So I'll have to take out the axles and kind of bend in the plastic a little more. See if I can get those to seat a little bit better. So obviously some differences in QC here between model to model, even on pretty much the exact same thing. So different days at the assembly plant maybe. It's interesting because I actually have the same car here from last year, and this one was perfect right out of the box. So maybe their QC has gone down a little bit over the past year. So not a slam dunk. So be cautious of these when you're getting them. For the price, I think that for a couple dollars more, you can find something comparable on Walther's mainline, and those never have any issues out of the box. But, for something that you may want to get for a younger audience, like a 6 or 7 year old, I would have little reservations about letting them play with something like this. You're not really going to be damaging like a $50 or $60 freight car or knocking off details or anything like that. These are pretty robust. I would say, again, minor upgrade on the trucks, and you could probably even retain the same wheel set since these are metal. So a truck replacement, and I think these would be pretty good. So that's about it for this one. So I might have another video here on the BLI address changer that I picked up and figuring out how all that works and how well it works. But that's it for this one.